In this video, guys, we're going to talk about the Department of Education, the dismantling, potential dismantling, and what happens next. I want to talk about 504. All right, we know that there was a reduction in workforce recently, and everybody was up in arms about that. I saw that all over social media. Oh my gosh, we need to save all these people that you don't know. You don't know them. When anytime there's a reduction in workforce for General Motors or Ford, I don't see you guys going out there picketing. It just. We need to be mindful that maybe there are too many middle people, consuming resources that we need to, every once in a while, we need to trim the shrub and so it can be healthy again, and we need to water it and fertilize it and make it better. And so I don't have a problem doing that. Okay. Things sometimes that needs to happen in order for things to work better. Because in 16 years, guys, OCR has been backlogged. What I've noticed is that they focus on what they want to focus on. And it's not just disabilities, guys. Okay? Every administration sort of has an agenda. This past one over the past 4 years had a definite agenda. And what was a priority for this past administration for Biden, if he even knew what was going on, was his agenda. Okay, or was his administration's agenda. And so, which caused more backup on the disability related front, because within the public schools, it wasn't just disabilities that the OCR attorneys were arguing. And so they have their pet projects, just like everybody else does. Okay. So that was part of it, but I saw that go on during the Obama administration, and I saw it go on during the Trump administration, just slightly different, but not really different, because the first 4 years Trump was there, he really didn't know what he was doing because he wasn't a politician. So therefore, I didn't really see any differences in 504 at all, because all the people that were there from the Obama administration stayed throughout the entire 16 through 20 administration. So the priorities sort of remain the same. I know people don't like to think that, but I think that what you're seeing now is a true reduction because, he's back in office. But from 2008 until now, no, we've pretty much had an Obama-Biden type of 504 OCR office. Okay. I'm just telling you that the backlog's been there, and have I found them overly effective? Not at all. I know that it's a pain in the ass when I talk to the board attorneys and they're having to deal with them. But at the same time, is it some kind of hard hitting, and I've seen plenty of OCR agreements. If a parent has a 504 complaint and then they find me, for example, and they have the 504 complaint and I've agreed to take their case, then in most instances, 504 will want the parent to choose. You want us to move forward, or do you want to use Galini? Well, I recommend you use me, because what 504 or what the OCR attorneys will tell you is that pretty much they're going to achieve the same thing I'm going to be able to achieve, depending on what it's about. Okay, understand 504 is about accommodations and equal access. It's not a crossover for IDEA. You take the IDEA issues that are 504 related and you can file a OCR complaint. In fact, I need to do a whole video explaining all the dispute resolution options in just very clear language, so all of you guys understand, what are the best dispute resolution options and when. Okay, because some of them are very effective, but you got to know when to use them. Okay, and some are better than others depending on what you're trying to resolve. But when it comes to these OCR issues, I can do the same things to that degree. Now, do they do damages or tort damages to get money for you or damage? No, it's once again, it's focused on that corrective action and having the schools agree to remediate. Now, on some level, they can sort of expand that out if it's something systemic that is happening all over to multiple students. And in the process of their investigation then yeah, they could expand that out to where, I'm limited to the individual child. Unless, of course, I go out there and, we're able to do some kind of class action using the 504 route, on a broader scale, which we haven't done yet. But we've considered doing it because we're seeing, some major issues. But take this back. Okay. The other thing that you need to keep in mind with regards to OCR and the OCR attorneys is that once again, not only do they have their pet projects, which hasn't been our kids with disabilities, it's been another area that I'm not going to get into, that has been the priority. It's been the focus, okay? At the same time, also understand that there's a lot of baseless, bad, and inaccurate 504 or OCR complaints that they're also backlogged because they're having to work through what shouldn't have been filed. And a lot of that is just parent ignorance of how to have a concise argument, to differentiate between a legitimate 504 accommodations and equal access argument that could have been resolved in a meeting, as opposed to, creating this backlog by filing too much. And there are parents out there and there are advocates out there that file too much, and they're clogging the system up, okay? It's like putting a lot of toilet paper in the toilet because you think it's funny, which kids do that at school sometimes. I'm telling you, it clogs up the pipes. And, so the rest of us that have legitimate OCR complaints, we're fighting for recognition and squeaky wheel, attention when there's a lot of shouldn't have been filed OCR complaints. And those are being worked through as well. And so that creates a backlog. People needing to look at it going, I don't know about this. All right. Anybody can file one. They're not rejected. They're reviewed. Okay. But somebody's got to do that. So I think the better we get as advocates and parents in sort of understanding what's a good argument, what's a bad argument, what's frivolous, what is just antagonistic or retaliatory on the parent part. I'm going to fix your wagon kind of attitude. That happens a lot. And so you sit there and you take all 50 states. And if I have offices in 4 and I'm seeing that in the 4 states where I have an office, then multiply that by, another 46. And you see where there's also a problem on the parent and advocate side that is contributing to this issue. Okay, so the fact that you go, well, he shouldn't be reducing. No, he should be reducing. They'll hire people back, guys, and it's not going anywhere. It's likely, I think, I forgot where he said he was moving OCR. Health and Human Services, or I know that's where he wants to move the IDEA, but as far as, I think it should be folded into the Department of Justice. But I think it's another department. But regardless, it's not going away. I've already seen that. It's not going away. So they're not shuttering it, and they can hire more people, but there does need to be a reduction. And a lot of those people they're finding just haven't been showing up, guys. After 2020, seriously, Google it before Trump ever took office. You can Google because they found, this is during the Obama administration, they found that very few people were showing up to work. Okay. How do you find that out? Well, people take the subway, people drive into DC, people were not showing up for work. Now you sit there and say, well, I was working from home. Come on. How many of us, no. So, there was a lot of inefficiency there. And there was also more than a few that they found, or just weren't even real. Somebody was collecting their paycheck, but, So before you sit there and you go, oh, I know so-and-so, do you really? You see a lot of stuff on social media, that are trying to pull at your heartstrings and cause anxiety and cause an emotional response. But there has been a backup as long as I've been in this area. There's been prioritizing that hasn't been in the area it needs to be because it covers more than just disability. And then there's also a lot of bad OCR complaints that are clogging the system up due to ignorance, a lack of understanding how to formulate an argument, and then retaliation, guys. Parents can retaliate just as much as schools can. All right? So we got to see our contribution to this problem and fix it. And then address what we will know in the near future and roll with that. But not stress out about it now. We just know that it's not going to go away. It's a Civil Rights Act created by Congress. They've got to oversee it. It's just not going to be within the Department of Education. But OCR exists in multiple different departments because it oversees accommodations and equal access across commerce and other areas, health. Okay, so education is just one component that OCR is responsible for compliance.